discuss till 4 p.m. I'm expressing my thoughts on one specific matter on today's rant, as usually is to practice, and I'll take your thoughts and mine till 4 p.m. For business news, of course, news top of every hour, updates at 5, headlines 5:30, major news at 6 p.m. So, 4 o'clock, let's see what happens then. Oh, it's World Press Freedom Day today. Remember, I mentioned that a while ago. Happy World Press Freedom Day. Yeah. What's the significance or importance of the press? What does press freedom mean, really? Is the press free in Nigeria? There's another related matters we're going to be discussing in the 4 o'clock hour. Editor with the Independent Monitor, Olalekan Ige, will be my guest for that conversation in the 4 o'clock hour. Taking us to 5, and in that hour we'll be discussing Father Mbaka and his contractors. Yeah, Father Mbaka and his contractors. I took 3 contractors to Buhari. Mbaka admits. So apparently there was really a contract situation. But look at that story, or at least some part of it. I took 3 contractors to Buhari. Mbaka admits. The spiritual director of Adoration Ministry in Nugu, Nigeria, Reverend Father Ejike Mbaka, says he led 3 contractors to the president. Major General Muhammad Buhari retired with a view to proffer solutions to the security challenges in the country. Mbaka said this in reaction to the accusation by the presidency that he called for the resignation of Buhari because of the general's refusal to grant his contract request. Mbaka supported the president during the 2015 and 2019 elections. He on Wednesday, during his midweek ministration, made a U-turn, asking Buhari to resign or be impeached for not doing enough to tackle widespread insecurity in the country. But the presidency opened a can of worms thereafter, saying Mbaka has suddenly become a critic because Buhari refused to offer contracts to his allies. Now reacting, Mbaka admitted that he led 3 security experts to the president to proffer solutions to the insecurity ravaging the country, even as he said that those people were not known to him. How does this paint Father Mbaka? The presidency is accusing him of feeling bad for not getting contracts, and that's why he's become a critic of the president recently. Remember, of course, it was the same Father Mbaka who received, supposedly, revelations from God that Buhari is God's answer to the prayer of Nigerians. So how does this contract situation paint Reverend Father? I'll get your take on that in the 5 o'clock hour. Headlines 5:30, once again, major news at 6, and open season after that. We'll wrap it up at about 7. The Sports Gang will be in for extra time. So that's pretty much the show today. If there are any changes, you will definitely find out, so please stay tuned. Oh, okay. So there's a commenter via WhatsApp. I'm getting things going right now with today's side comments, random stories and random thoughts. As a commenter via WhatsApp, I really wasn't going to do this. I had absolutely no intentions of doing this today. Really, I didn't. Just wanted to get right into the conversation. But here's the WhatsApp message. Dyer, good afternoon. My son's club, Arsenal FC, did a wonderful job yesterday. We need Arsenal moment. And asked from Hannah. If Hannah had asked me for an Arsenal moment, very likely I would have refused. I'd have said a no. But Hannah says it's her son who wants an Arsenal moment. And I'd hate to disappoint Hannah's son. Yep, it was a brilliant display by the Arsenal side over the weekend. Yeah, absolutely so. And no doubt also deserving of an Arsenal moment. So let's give Hannah's son, this is strictly specially for Hannah's son. Enjoy it, and I'll be right back with today's side comment in a moment. right, I hope Anna's son enjoyed that one. All right, so that said, let's get back to the conversation right now on today's edition of the show. So getting back on with today's side comments, random stories, and random thoughts that I came across earlier on. Operations manager of a fast food in Port Harcourt, Bright Kwasu, says there could be a reduction of food portions if the cost of running the food business continues to rise. In an interview with our correspondent, Mr. Kwasu said the increase in food prices is affecting the cost of running food business. He said most businesses will suffer huge losses without the intervention of government. That's a very serious problem here. That is a serious problem we have on our hands. That means they're going to be reducing the size of Loi Loi will probably go down. That's a bad thing. That's a very bad thing, I suppose. So we need something to be done about this, because nothing must touch the price, or the size rather, of Loi Loi. So can the authorities please do something about this before the situation gets out of hand? I mean, you can mess everything up, but for God's sakes, do not touch the size of Loi Loi. That's a terrible thing, really. Well, lots of stuff about, accusations, counter accusations. The DSS is issuing threats to go after people. I think the DSS, the DSS has a responsibility, no doubt about that. Just like every other security agency in the country, I think the DSS, you just go about doing and be professional and just do your job. There's no need for all of this. I kind of miss the days when the DSS was hardly ever heard from, or even hardly ever heard of as well. When they were really like a secret service, or or Department of State Services as they refer to, or something like that. When they were just there was something about them. It was just like they were lurking in the shadows, like you didn't know. And whenever you saw them, there was something about them. There was something so grand, if you will, about them. With their nicely tailored suits and their dark shades and all of that, and you just know that beneath that suit there's a firearm, there's a gun. There was this mystery to the DSS, But now the DSS is sounding like they're just I don't know, like members of the Newspaper Free Readers Association. That's how the DSS is coming off these days. Just I don't know. A lot happening at the moment in the country, isn't it? So I think the DSS and every other security agency in the country should just be professional in doing their jobs. If there are people who genuinely or who has been determined are causing problem in the country, arrest the people, try them in court. It's as simple. It's not to go about issuing threats. If anyone is committing a crime, get the person arrested, of course, after having conducted your due diligence and investigations, and prosecute the individuals and let the courts convict them if they're guilty. Enough with the Free Readers Association rhetoric. So was there anything else that caught my attention today? Well, workers in Nigeria are at home today as the federal government declared today a public holiday to mark Workers' Day, which fell on a Saturday. Workers around the world held events and protests, with police arresting several in Istanbul, Turkey, for breaking COVID restrictions. Workers in Nigeria definitely not having the best of times, if you ask me. Not having the best of times at all. 30,000 naira minimum wage. One wonders what that can do for an individual, let alone a family, these days. Yet we have excellencies, the governors all over the country who are having problem implementing that, who don't want to pay. And I think it's safe to say, even here in Rivers State, the new national minimum wage and consequential adjustment has not been implemented. I think it's about 2 years now. I think it's about 2 years. Wasn't it 2019? The president signed the new minimum wage into law. 2 years now or thereabouts, and the Rivers State government is yet to implement it, in spite of claims that it has. And by the way, what is going on with the tripartite discussions or meetings going on in Rivers State with worker and with government, parliament, the Rivers State government and Labour, to discuss matters that affect workers' welfare, gratuities, pensions, and the rest of it. When is that tripartite arrangement going to finally come to an end and resolve the issues, and we can move forward? The workers aren't having a good time. No, they're not. But while Nigerian workers keep struggling, keep leaving it in the hands of God and hoping for the best, Honorables and Excellencies are feeding fat. They're getting fatter. Their heads are growing bigger, like they're going to explode. Their cheeks are getting fatter. They're buying up more land, building more houses, stashing more currencies in foreign bank accounts, stashing money like money is going to end in the world soon, though, so they want to keep enough for the next gazillion years. It's remarkable indeed. But I wish Nigerian workers the very best. Don't worry, very soon God will do it. Our own heads will start to get bigger very soon as well, and our cheeks will get fatter also. I got a comment here via WhatsApp. Someone saying, "Oh, our dear Loi, what a terrible time indeed." Oh, indeed it is. It is a terrible time indeed. While honorables are getting fatter, our Loi is getting smaller, and they don't even eat the Loi with us, for that matter. But still, they won't let us eat it in peace. All right, so that might be for side comment. Is that it? CP Mukan, the versatile CP, what's going on? CP Mukan, have you swept that matter under the carpet? I think it would be nice if the River State Police Command just officially notifies the good people of River State if the CP has swept the matter under the carpet. And the said matter, by the way, the crackheads that extorted or stole, more like it, money from Uniport's undergrads and forgot their phone while they were celebrating their thievery. So what's going on? It's been weeks, possibly even months now, and we've heard nothing yet of the so-called investigation. Last we heard was that they're waiting for a bank statement. Well, this bank statement must be one of a kind. So what's going on? There was a similar situation, I think, in Ogun State. The matter has been resolved already, where some crackhead officers also extorted some undergrad. They've been fired from the police. We know the outcome of that situation already. So what's going on here in River State? So CP, versatile CP, it would be nice if you officially communicate to the good people of River State if the matter has been swept under the rug, so we can move on until the next matter you will sweep again. So let's just let's do these things appropriately. CP Eboka Friday. Yeah, I said Eboka, not Milan. Oh, okay. Oh, Mkan. Did I say Mkan? Oh, I meant Eboka. If I said something else, apologies for that. I meant Eboka. Yeah, that's the name. Eboka Friday. And finally, Michael Pasti, as a self-appointed senior special advisor to the River State Governor on reminding His Excellency of critical matters. Your Excellency, look at, I mentioned a thing about workers a while ago. Education, Your Excellency. Let's pay some attention to education, especially at the basic level. If we've got basic education in the right state, I was talking to a friend the other day. We don't even have to. Not many people will have to bother to go to Uniport or any of the other tertiary institutions. If we get basic education right, so let's get it right. Let's make some investments in basic education in the states. A lot needs to be done indeed. So that's it for today's side comment. I'm going to break. When I return, today's round comes on. Please stay with us.
Keeping up with political issues and developments around you, only on Nigeria Info.
surrounding is a collective effort.
Diseases could be avoided
With good hygiene practice, be more responsible with how you dispose waste products. The environment will be better looking without litter and exposed garbage. We love our city clean. This message is from 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Information is a two-way thing. Nigeria Info, it's your turn. Let's talk.
And now, Hard Facts. Hard Facts with Dayo.
Hello, welcome back. 3:30 p.m. It is Hard Facts. I'm Dayo. You're listening to 90.3 Nigeria Info here in Port Harcourt, and I'd like to rant for just a bit. I've got something in my mind. I'm expressing some thoughts on it, and you're welcome to express your thoughts or mine all the way till 4 p.m. I strongly think that someone needs to conduct some kind of experiment, some kind of research into what happens in the minds of Nigerian leaders. Somebody has to commission some kind of research or a study. Yeah, somebody has to commission a study into investigating, researching and trying to discover, to find out what goes on in the mind of a Nigerian leader. I think it would be good for humanity if that happens, because I feel strongly that the mind of the average Nigerian leader, and by the way, specifically I'm referring to political leaders now, I think there is a special way, and by special I don't mean positive, I mean different. There is a different way, a unique way, if you will, that their mind works. I feel strongly the mind doesn't work the same way the minds of other human beings work. Because the things that they do many times, the decisions that they make, the choices, the policies, it leaves me very worried. It leaves me confounded. I'm profoundly confounded by the actions of a lot, if not most, Nigerian leaders. There has to be something different as to how their mind works. Something about it really that's not quite normal, I think. And you don't have to look too far. You don't have to search far for examples of these anomalies as to how the minds of Nigerian leaders work. For example, before I get to the story that inspired today's rant, if you were to there's a curfew in place right now. Yep, there's a curfew in place right now in Rivers State. I think the curfew starts from is it 10 p.m. I think. Yeah. There's another one for the borders. I think that one's 8 p.m. starts 8 p.m. So imagine that you're caught. You might even have a plausible reason for being out beyond 10 p.m. Imagine that you're caught by one of our gallant security officers or security agents on the road or someplace out in the open beyond 10 p.m. I'd like to imagine the way that you'll be treated. May that not be your portion. May you not have any reason to, except of course, if you are in essential services, and that's different. But if you're not in essential services, you're not in the medical field, you're not in the media and other such places, please, as much as possible, avoid it, because I can't even imagine the things that they would do to you. I mean, you will be treated no less than a common criminal, I imagine. And government, if somehow government were to find out about it, government would make an example of you. We all remember what happened during the COVID-19 lockdowns and how people were treated, even by state executive governors as well, who were found maybe in places where they were not supposed to be found at that time. But now, people who do stuff like this, or things that are not even so serious, are treated treated very harshly by the authorities, by government. But people who commit crimes, who commit serious crimes like armed robbery, like kidnappings, or even murder, many times what we find out is that they are rewarded by our government, by Nigerian leaders, and that I completely do not understand. Completely do not understand. But Nigerian leaders need to understand that rewarding crime can never be a good policy. In no way can rewarding crime be a good policy. As a matter of fact, I know that I feel that there are many things responsible for the terrible state in which the country is right now, insecurity speaking. However, I suspect strongly that the tendency of Nigerian leaders to reward criminals has contributed greatly as well, in no small measure, to the quagmire in which we find ourselves neck deep in, even at this time. You have situations where government in Nigeria are granting amnesty to criminals. Criminals. Forgiving criminals. But if you were to be found out right now beyond 10 p.m., you will not be forgiven. You will not be forgiven. You will be dealt with decisively. Decisively. When will Nigerian leaders learn that rewarding crime is not good for any society? When will they comprehend this? There's a story here in the Premium Times, and it's captioned, Kankara Abduction Mastermind killed days after returning to forest. Now, here's the story. A notorious bandit, Awolun Dawa, has been killed barely 9 days after he returned to the forest, an official of the Zamfara state government says. Ibrahim Zalba, a spokesperson to the governor of the state, broke the news late Friday. How this spokesperson at the government, by the way, is excited by this completely disturbs me as well. That's why I think somebody should conduct some kind of research into how their mind works. Back to the story. Quote, Justin, barely 9 days after Awolun Dawa returned to the jungle after swearing oaths on the glorious Quran never to go back to banditry, he met his Waterloo. He was killed while trying to rustle. How did this person, this so-called bandit, even get into that situation where he was trying to rustle cattle? Back to the story. Mr. Dawa, known, very important here, this fellow, this bandit, is known for masterminding the abduction of over 300 students from a boys' secondary boarding school on the outskirts of Kankara, Katsina State last December. He masterminded the abduction of those 300 boys in Kankara. He was responsible for it. However, they say he surrendered his weapons under an amnesty program by the Zamfara state government in February. He masterminded the abduction of 300 students in December last year. By February this year, the government had granted him amnesty. They granted him amnesty. Now, in an interview with the Daily Trust, he recounted how he picked up arms, saying he has forsaken his past. He said, quote, I have repented and submitted myself. I don't want to look back at all. If some of us at some point came out to renounce violence and go back and continue their old ways, that is their own choice. If someone repents but has arms in the bush, you know it cannot be a sincere one. In my case, I carried myself and the arms I had and turned myself in. What should I go back and do? If I do anything, Allah sees it. He said this after he was supposedly granted amnesty in February. However, against his words, Mr. Dawa went back to the trenches. Once again, this fellow masterminded the abduction of 300 children. Not one, not two, not 10, not 50. 300. The entire nation was thrown into a crisis because of this matter. And this happened December last year, and in February, the Zamfara state government granted him amnesty. And of course, unsurprising to me, he went back to crime because he's a criminal. He was not punished for his crime, so he's definitely, very likely, and as has happened in this case, most certainly did go back to his life of crime. Now, while trying to commit another crime, he met his Waterloo. He was shot and killed. And the Zamfara state government is excited about this, happy and delighted that the guy that they let go, who abducted 300 children, that the guy they let go in December, or rather the guy who committed the crime in December, that they granted amnesty in February, was shot while trying to commit another crime. They're very happy as to their accomplished this landmark accomplishment of His Excellency. I'm sure that's how somebody will put it. Of His Excellency, His Excellency the Governor. Even here in River State, we've seen situations. There are examples abound of people, so-called cultists, who were granted amnesty, but came back to terrorize the state or terrorize certain parts of the state. I think Don Wani is a classic example of that. When will Nigerian leaders learn that if you reward crime, if you do not punish crime, the criminals are only going to continue in their criminal act? Why can't they comprehend this? It's not impossible that this fellow who's been killed now, since February when he was granted amnesty, could have committed some other crimes, could have kidnapped some other people, could have killed some other people, could have successfully rustled some cattle, depriving some persons of their means of livelihood. He could have committed several other crimes before this latest one when he was killed. And all this happened because the state government granted him amnesty after kidnapping 300 children. But if you were to be caught violating a curfew at this time, God help you. Oh, God help you. Especially imagine if an excellency is passing by and His Excellency is the one that sees you. I commit you into God's hands. But somebody who masterminded the abduction of 300 children was granted amnesty. And that's why I say once again, somebody needs to find out what goes on in the minds of Nigerian leaders, because it can't be anything proper. And finally, for this rant, I'm reminding Nigerian leaders once again, who knows if the Zamfara State Governor, His Excellency, might get to see this video because we're streaming live on Twitter and Facebook. And to all the other leaders out there, Excellencies and Honorables, all of them, crime should not be rewarded. Our tendency to do that is also greatly contributory to where we are right now in this country. On that note, I end my rant. Thanks to listening, Hupatin Boy. Let's hear your take right now. Call. Lines are open. 0817 923 0002 or 0003. 0817 923 0007 or 0009. Once again, live on Twitter and Facebook at Nigeria Info PH. WhatsApp on 0809 030 6416. To the phone lines now. Hello, how's back to welcome?
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, go ahead.
President, contribution. Because the issue you are discussing about, I think for me, one of the policy of the government that I did not like from day one to today is granting of amnesty. The introduction of amnesty in Nigeria is something that has contributed more than 90% of crimes in this country. It may be working in another society, but here in Nigeria it doesn't work. Until the government abolish the issue of amnesty and begin to treat criminals the way they deserve, I think crime will not stop.
All right. Hello, 913.
Hello,
Go ahead.
Okay, let me say this way. As a worker in Nigeria Info, maybe anytime you are late, the security man will write your name Adedayo came early without the manager menu. Do you think if they make you manager, you'll be able to sack that security man? What you do is to increase his salary. That is what is happening in our leadership in terms of crime. Are you there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you. Go ahead.
That's what is happening in terms of crime. These boys are the people they know before now. That is why on every election you find out that you see boys snatching ballot balls and so on. So these boys are the people they train. It will be hard for them to kill them directly. It's only when they overact that is striking and start crying. Everybody is shouting. So you see them, they can find a way to kill that particular person. If not, they will keep giving amnesty until the society starts shouting. My name is Bright Woods.
Bright, glad you have for me. Hello, how's Friday to welcome?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good day.
I seem to be anonymous.
Oh, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. The problem of this country, just as you rightly said, our leaders. You can imagine, it all started in this our region. When Yadua and Jonathan was on peace, men that carried arms against the investors and their brothers. Today they are chiefs. They are paying them, sending them abroad. After all, they not understood if they are enjoyed such benefits after committing crime. They decided to take up their own too.
Yeah.
So they need to settle them.
Yes.
They will settle them, and in fact, that man, if he had waited for another 2 months, they would have given him an emirship
or appointment.
Appoint him as one of the campaign leader in that party. The governor left him because he will use him 2023. The problem is caused by our leaders. They are all having hands in what is plaguing us today. So I don't know. It's only God that will give us better leadership and change their mind. In River State today, most of the people that are building good houses are all criminals. The government is saving them.
Maybe not most. Maybe not most.
You don't need to go dial.
I'm sure they are.
If you want to make quick money, you don't need to even go to school, waste your time and go to school. Don't belong to one of the group. Let them know you. They will use you as an errand boy, paying you fabulous amount of money. That is it. I don't know.
Hi, great to hear from you. Via WhatsApp, our country is in its pathetic state because of not just the reward of crime, but the celebration of criminals. On the flip side, petty violators of the law are severely punished. Others on the sidelines are encouraged to build their violent crime empires with the expectation they will be granted amnesty. That's gift from Port Harcourt. Do I have comment via Facebook? Victor Sarah goes, good evening, in Nigeria, everything is just abnormal. Rather than prosecuting criminals, all what they do is reward them hugely. So sad. Boma Suberakon goes, Nigeria, very pathetic. And Donald Dagbaja goes, Nigerian leaders have the mind of stone. They can't change ever. Hello, how's back to welcome?
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you. I think in the first place, you shouldn't refer to these people as leaders. This was a mistake we made in 1999, where people were afraid, people of good conscience in this country were afraid to get into politics. They were actually afraid that the military might strike at any time. And men who have a bad conscience took over. So when you refer to someone as a leader, it's about someone that is thinking about the people. Anytime you see them running around, it's because they are directly affected, or one of their cronies are affected. You also hear today that the Greenfield University, the College of Forestry, the bandits have given them tomorrow, until after tomorrow, all of them will be killed. And nothing is being done about it. So the whole thing is as if it has turned upside down, like you said. During the COVID-19 lockdown here, we knew what we suffer. Just a minute past that very second. See how they will ruffle you. and jump down from their vehicles as if the war front is here.
You know,
yes.
as if you're the one that brought COVID, that invented COVID-19.
Exactly. They even fire on air. So the criminals are here, and the gallant men are also here to match them first of all. You know. But when you come to the real issues, okay, now how long have you been lamenting about the policemen that the evidence are overwhelming, that they steal from students? For how long now? Is this almost adopting now? The police commissioner has not done anything. So are you not encouraging those guys to continue in the line of criminality? We are almost not having a country anymore. This is a complete fair state. And this is what is going on complete every day. Criminals are being criminal. They are not even criminals. These are terrorists. You pay them and visit their camp and take pictures with them. And when you come to ordinary civilians here now, that is not just like
you'll be dealt with decisively.
The voice will be now on ground.
Great to have you, but I must move on. Hello, hard fact to welcome.
Hello, Dayo.
All right, go ahead. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Dayo.
Hi, go on. Yeah.
I want to look at it from this other angle.
Yes.
Apart from blaming the government, I also want to blame some religious leaders.
Okay.
Because their actions also encourages these boys to do things like this. When I mean religious leaders across the two major states we have.
How did they encourage them?
Like when these boys going to crime, some of them are their followers. They know the boys. They don't report the boys to the appropriate quarters. They would rather team up with the boys and plead for mercy, as you sing.
But there are always going to be, people who do wrong things in any field, even if it's in the religious field. But the point is, after they have been apprehended by the state, by government, why let them go?
That's what I'm saying. The same religious people will still come back to plead for these boys again. That it is the work of the devil. They should forgive this time around that they've casted the demons out of the boys. They won't do the same thing until the boys will meet their Waterloo. We saw that in the case of late Jawani here and some others. There are some that are still living, that are still perpetrating this crime despite renouncing courtesy. And there are some notable men of God pleading on their behalf for mercy. So it's not all about the government. Some religious leaders are also culpable too. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Right, Twitter at Napoleon tweet. First, the guy who was granted amnesty didn't write that script. It sounds like Femi additional telling lies for the federal government. Second, we know the root cause of the problem in Nigeria. The elite are making money from this situation. Don't expect a change. At Embark Monday tweets, the government in Nigeria today is nothing but full of shameless leaders and clueless associates with a weak institution that cannot punish criminals who are on a killing parade. Instead, they're rewarding them with cars and contracts. Hello? Let's see what's happening via WhatsApp. I've never been an advocate of rewarding criminals in whatever form. Let's not go far. Criminals are being paid amnesty stipends right here in the Niger Delta. Loughton cultists are recruited as task force members and neighborhood security network across the state. Very sad indeed. Criminals should be treated as criminals. Thanks, and that's from Jay. Good evening, Dial. Look around you. Look at the deplorable, almost out of control security situation right now. It's certainly not possible for us to have gotten to where we are without the solid backing of the high and mighty. The rogues are firmly in power and everything is under alarm. There's certainly no cause for control. Remember what the late despot said? That's from Imar Gold. The more they reward crime, the more evil increases. It's a hard time. Nigerian government reward good citizens of this country. That's Hana. Good day to me. Amnesty is the worst gift from Yaradua to us. Why giving amnesty to criminals who are walking free? Darlington Makeup from Iribe said that. Maybe another call. Gonna wrap it up. Hello, hard fact to welcome.
Hello.
Hi, go ahead. Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening. Go ahead.
Yes. This matter of going now, and it's unfortunate what we're passing through in the house of our government. And most of the time, I could remember last year in Omega, many of all these boys in Nigeria were given amnesty. And they just, after about 2 or 3 months, now all of them are just in the bush right now. They went back to crime again. And even this last night, they killed somebody. Those boys came to Akabuka and killed somebody. So I don't know the meaning of that amnesty that government always gives to these criminals. So at any point in time, any criminal that is caught and in any crime should be dealt with. So the government is causing a lot of problems.
Absolutely.
By granting amnesty to all these boys, that they cannot even, they have the mind to repent. So criminal is a criminal. So the point of giving amnesty to them is a waste. It's a total waste.
Completely incomprehensible.
Yes.
Right, yeah, for me. I mean, I totally can't wrap my head around it. Do I have time for another call? I'm not sure I do. But via WhatsApp, what a happy ever after for the Zamfara state government. It's not even like the bandit leader was killed by efforts of the state government. He was reportedly killed in a gun battle with a rival bandit group. There was no report that the state government had declared him wanted before he was killed. So, in other words, the bandit leader went back to his crime, and the government hadn't done anything about it before he was incidentally killed by a non-state actor. It was like a miracle. The prayers actually did work. Good evening, sir. C.S. Oyima Esquire said that. Well, C.S. Oyima, I don't know. Good to hear from you, but I don't know if it was prayers that led to his being killed. But even if prayers caused that, he may have caused some harm already. Somebody else may have lost something. He may have committed some other crime that we didn't hear about and may never hear about before he was eventually killed. Or because the Zamfara state government granted him amnesty. And somebody is very excited to talk about how he has now been killed. You know. Media aid. And they call them media aid. Good afternoon, Dial. Here in Rivers State, the criminals are not only granted amnesty, their communities go extra mile to give them chieftaincy titles, as Kingsley from Mache. Oh well. It's a terrible situation indeed. 2 minutes ago, top of the hour, 4 p.m., we go to business news. After that, World Press Freedom Day, it is today. Olanleko Ige joins me for that conversation. Do please stay with us.